Greg Ruff and Sam Harris along with you, men's basketball coach here at Trevecca Nazarene University, and just talking about the 2016-2017 season. Well, you had this huge senior class, and they're all gone except for one now. Well, I say he could have been a senior. He could have graduated, actually. Percy Blake comes back, and you got a whole lot of young guys here, and you got a couple other underclassmen that are going to be key. Just talk about your team a little bit and what it looks like. You've gotten to look at them. Haven't really gotten to practice with them yet. That comes in the next week or so. But just talk about what you've seen from this class and from this group.
Well, I really like our class. There's no doubt we've got some good-looking freshmen. How they mature in everyday routine activities in terms of skill development may determine how we finish. But Percy's back. He's already got his undergraduate degree. He's working his master's program, and I think he's one of the keys to how quickly our young class is going to develop.
I'm thinking off the top of my head here. I mean, there's been a couple of times when there's been one senior or two seniors. Percy would be one that if you were going to have one senior, that'd be a really good one to have. I think back to maybe Michael Blevins was maybe a lone senior too, or maybe just one of a couple. But there's been a few of those, but Percy's been a really good guy for you guys this year, hasn't he?
Well, he's key. Even if you look back on last year with all the seniors, when he was healthy, we were 13-4. So, when he was healthy and playing, we were 13-4. So, hopefully he can have the same magical touch on. He was our glue guy. Byron was the conference player of the year, and Gamble was the inside force inside, and then you have Slay and Mac Wallen was a consistent outside shooter, and Terrell. But, Percy was the glue. He did all the little things that allowed those guys to improve and do their thing on the floor within our system. And I think this year he's going to take on some more added responsibility as you move through the process. You just add more responsibility, but I think it's his leadership skills that'll make us better.
I was talking to him a little bit, and I just said, you remind me so much of one of my favorite players that played very similar to him, and that was James Worthy. He was a guy who had the ability to score, to defend, to rebound, but he did all these things. But what was great about James Worthy is he made everybody else around him better, and he was able to step back.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. With this group, I see us similar to where Cedarville was last year. With all their freshmen. At the end of the year, Cedarville was really good. And I think that's going to be our progression as well. I think what you see, I know every coach says this every year, what you see early in the year is not going to be who we are later in the year. But I think with this group, when you think about it, you got Percy and Jacob Williams really are the only two that have got any type of experience coming back. And then you throw Donovan in, that kind of played a little bit last year, but his roles changed drastically this year. And then, just the new guys. It'll be interesting to see. So far in lifting and running, our effort has been outstanding. And if they can continue to do that, then I think every time we step on the floor, people are going to say, "Oh, they're getting better. Oh, they're getting better." And hopefully by the middle of January, they're saying, "Oh, they're pretty good." So, but it's going to take us some time. Like I say, I like our young kids. Devin Whitfield from Alabama is going to be a good player for us. It's nice when other coaches of teams that we play, Coach Acuff at Alabama Huntsville, when he signed with us, said, "You got a really good one." So that's a pretty good endorsement. Same thing happened with Cam Paulding out of Georgia. You get some of those Division II schools, Columbus State, and some of the guys down there in the Peach Belt Conference, and they say, "Oh, you got a pretty good player." And then the same thing happened with Michael. With Michael Thompson out of Indiana. St. Joe's and a couple of schools said to me, "Oh, we were recruiting him, and then we heard you guys got him." So, it's a good recruiting class. It's a sound recruiting class as freshmen, and we're going to have a couple additions, coming in, a couple kids that we thought were going to be here in the fall, but they're not going to make it until Christmas break. So we'll have a couple additions coming in at Christmas, and we'll see how they blend in with the kids we have.
The conference is growing. We got Malone in this year. I know you guys are playing home and home with Findlay. That's a school that'll be in the conference next year, and so we're starting to get a different feel for the GBAC. We knew it was going to grow. We knew it was going to expand. Talk about how that impacts you as a men's basketball coach.
Well, I think it's great, that our conference is expanding. Hopefully we'll expand enough that we'll eventually get two bids, to the NCAA tournament. instead of just our conference winner. But what it really means, for us, I mean, because we've always tried to play the toughest schedule that we can find, and now it just means like picking up Walsh is outstanding. They're very good. Finley's very good. Ohio Dominican's very good. So I mean, you start going down the list of people that's in there, and I know I probably left somebody out that's really good coming into our league, but I know those three are really good. And you add, Horace and Broadus is good. Kentucky Wesleyan, we know we're going to have Division I transfers. Same with Olives and Broadus, they've got some Division I transfers. So, the conference is just going to keep getting better and better and better.
Absolutely. Well, it's upon us. It's exciting. 24 years that you've been here at Trevecca, and
have I aged? No.
I finally got you to take a new picture because we were lying in presenting that one.
My hair's still the same.
No, it's the same.
It's just a
the
different
color's
color.
different.
Yeah.
You need to go back to the George Plaster dyeing of hair or something like that. But at least he's had hair. That's what I would say. He's Sam Harris. I'm Greg Ruff. Thanks for watching. Greg Ruff along with you, and joining me is Percy Blade from the Trevecca men's basketball team, and we are in preparations for the upcoming season. This is your senior year. You're a fifth-year senior because you transferred, something like that.
Something like that.
You spent your first year at Western Kentucky. You transferred to Trevecca, and you've been here with us. And just talk about your journey to Trevecca and then your journey here at Trevecca.
Well, I had an awesome experience at my last school, Western Kentucky, and I had the opportunity to play and do other things. But I just wanted to not only better myself in basketball, but get myself better in terms of off the court, in terms of potentially growing a business and things like that, and just getting closer to God. And Trevecca just popped up, and it seemed the best place for me to be, and it just kind of worked out ever since. So I've really enjoyed it right now.
The interesting thing is that you kind of helped bring a wave of Kentucky players here from Louisville and beyond. Just talk about that in the last 2 years with all those guys.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I had two of my high school teammates who were actually able to play with me the last 2 years. But I actually got kind of brought in here by another teammate I had, which was Byron.
Yeah,
he
Byron
was here
Sanford.
before me, and talked to him a little bit when I was up here. Got the lowdown, on how Trevecca was and stuff like that. And I was really able to, see myself being here. And then I had another teammate come who was actually my AU teammate, and we just all kind of gelled together. And it was a nice experience to have people you already knew and kind of knew how they played, just to be around.
Talk a little bit about the decision to come back to Trevecca, because people think, what do you mean? Well, you could have graduated. You could have moved on. You graduated your undergrad, and now you've come back for your master's. We'll talk about the master's more, but talk about the process of deciding to come back to be the lone senior here.
Well, like you said, I've already completed my undergrad, and I had the option to, stop playing basketball and going to school, or get my master's and continue to play basketball. And, my decision was really based upon me having the opportunity to impact the lives of the freshmen that were able to come in and some of the transfers as well. And that's just something I really couldn't pass up. And then also having my master's, I do want to own my own business one day and, help billions of people if possible around the world. So that was a key factor as well. But I really believe my opportunity to help those freshmen and just, bring them closer to God and, let them know how serious academics are as well as basketball, because I think they're coming in, from high school thinking they're entitled to so many things. They don't have to work hard maybe in the classroom or in other areas. But, it's a very serious thing, and that's something they can't take for granted. So I just, wanted to take the opportunity to help them realize that.
Have they given you a nickname, Grandpa or anything, Uncle? Or
Not Grandpa. They sometimes call me Old Man all the time, because normally after some of the practices, they all like dunking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they know I can dunk, but I never get out there and do it. I'm like, no, I can't. My knees can't take it. So they call me Old Man and stuff like that.
You're saving that for the game time, right?
There you go, saving it for the game.
So some of my best photos of dunks of this guy right here. Talk about what you decided to come back. You're in the Masters of Organizational Leadership. It's a program that I went through here at Trevecca. I absolutely love it. I'm the biggest advocate that you could have for that. But talk about what it's been for you, because you've been in the program now for several months here, and what do you want to do with it?
Well, it was really nice actually to talk to you beforehand. I was either going to choose between the NBA or the MOL, and you really told me that the MOL was phenomenal in terms of what I want to do, which is owning my own business and potentially a nonprofit. You led me to realize that that's the perfect thing. It literally aligns right with running your own company and sometimes nonprofit and stuff like that. So that's why I made that choice to do the MOL. And I do want to create a business that actually provides water sources for people all around the world, and we can
A huge need.
a huge need, and we can build ravines or wells or anything that can help provide water for people just to shower, use the bathroom, or just to drink. And that's a necessity for everybody around the world. And I think this program specifically helps me get closer to me building that business and potentially helping people around the world and bring them closer to God.
It really does change cultures and cities and groups of people and tribes in different places. I know with different missions. So wonderful. And then you get to play some basketball.
You got that right.
You ready for it?
I'm definitely ready for it.
All right. Percy Blade, Trevecca men's basketball.